It's been a while since I've done my makeup with you on stories and walked you through it. So we're going to do that this afternoon. So my brows are like bothering me today. I'm going to use our brow wax. You activate it with either setting spray or water. I keep these and instead of having my big setting spray bottle, I put the setting spray in here. We'll send them a little happy so they have that to try out and test, especially if they don't already own one of those. I'll kind of send them that. So right now I'm just using setting spray, brow wax. It activates it, and one thing to note with our makeup is that you could start with something as simple as 4 tens in a compact like this with your brushes, or what I'm using is this one that holds about 10 of the big. Now what I'm going to do, I did just kind of put my brows in place, right? I'm going to take and use a brush. I'm going to use the shape brush. It is one of my favorites. And I'm going to take and come into my contour. So this is the darker color down on the bottom. And what contour does is it's something that we use that is going to help where you naturally have shadows at on your face. So we're all created, our face is 3-dimensional, right? That's how you and I were created. And typically, if you are using a liquid or a powder foundation, you're putting that one color all over and it's taking away the dimension. And then I also just go along that jawline where you naturally have the shadow, kind of use the excess there. So we're using it where we naturally have shadows on our face, basically in the shape of a 3. You can also do your nose if you prefer. You can kind of see you have those shadows there. So if you feel like you have a maybe more broad nose and you want to like slim it down some, or if you have a slim nose and you want it to appear larger, you have your like lines either further apart or closer together, depending on how you want your nose to appear. I'm going to take and use still this small end of the brush, and I'm going to come into my brighter shade. That is my brightening highlight. We call our 10s that are your like brighter or like your concealer shade, or like accent shade is what I typically call it. We call those highlights, and I personally use my brightening one like you would in the center of your face where you're already naturally brighter. You will notice that when you look at your face that you kind of have those brighter spots, definitely on the corners of your eyes, typically right in here, down your nose. I'm not going to really brighten this area or down here because that's where my hormonal acne is. And anywhere that you brighten or lighten up is going to draw the eye to that area. And I don't want to draw the eye to that area where I have texture at. Then I'm going to take and come into this end. I'm personally going to use this color right here. Okay, it is my skin tone shade right now. The other shade that you see like right below it, that is when I have on Sunless Tanner, or during the summer, that is like more of my shade that I will wear. So you will see this is my main shade, like I said. So it is that foundation color. We are using it, like I say, your bearded area right here, unless you brightened right in here. And then up this way, so it's kind of like a check mark. And the reason why I come up to kind of like here is because that's typically where I have redness, like where my rosacea is. And this main color that is your like foundation color is going to get you a little bit more coverage than your concealer was. Now I will say all of these shades, your main color, your brightening color, your contour, and our makeup, they all have coverage in them, okay? So that's why you don't have to apply that main color all over to cover, because your contour has like coverage in it. But then this is the thing to think about, is if you're painting a wall, like if that wall was black behind me or brown, like is in my other room in the house, you wouldn't just go over that. Or if I had a red wall, like I have a red bed, I had a bedroom growing up that was red. I couldn't just paint over it and make it white, right? Or tan, or whatever, color you want to consider your face. So if you have something that's red or pink like your rosacea is, you're going to need a color that either, number one, camos it. So that's kind of like how your main color is doing. It's going to be that camouflage, or cancels it out. And so with red, you're going to want a green tone to cancel it out. Well, my areas of redness are bigger, so I'm not going to use like a demi color, which is like our top smaller tones. Anyways, so this is our 3D foundation at this time. We used contour, main shade, and brightening shade, and that's all in one layer. I didn't really blend it as I went because I kind of wanted you to see where it was. You will see that my neck is a little bit lighter. Number one, that's because typically the way our chin and jaw is, your neck is typically a little bit lighter because it's in the shade or shadow there. But I also had sunless tanner on, so I still have a little bit there. I'm going to use a little bit of bronzer to warm this up to kind of match. So this is how it looks before I blend. You can see my contours in the shape of 3. I've brightened, and then I have my main color, and I'm just kind of press over where I put my main color, kind of like blending it that way. You can do that. I'm literally kind of also like pressing that brightening shade that I put on, blending that together. So blending it from the inner corners of my eyes to this outer corner. And then also I like to swoosh it over my eyelid because if y'all can't tell on this eye, look there, it looks like I have eyeshadow, kind of like a pinky color, pinkish brown, because y'all know, when I don't get great sleep, which Callaway was up last night. She needed a little bit of time with her mama after everybody went to bed. Me and her hung out. So when I don't get great sleep, my eyelids get darker. Not under eyes, my eyelids. So there we are. As far as contour, what I like to do is take it and blend it up into that hairline and up on our face. So you see how just with me tapping it in the tiniest bit, you're still keeping that shadow and that dimension there, but it's blending really nicely to where it's not this harsh line. It doesn't have to be a harsh line. You don't have to like blend it away either, but you want to always make sure you're blending up and like back. You don't want to ever drag anything down on your face, so you never want to drag it down. Gravity is going to already do that. If you're like me and you are 30 and above, you have what we consider maturing skin, okay? And Gravity, this oil treatment in my hair, I cannot deal. I cannot deal. So there, that's our 3D foundation blended in. Now we're going to take and come into our bronzer, which I'm using, I think I'm using Bella. It's Bella or High Tides. I'll look in just a second. It is Bella. I just checked. What I did, you can see the kind of dots where I dotted it. It's like the shape of a C, okay? And you'll see I'm just going to press it there. So it's like the shape of a C. What it's doing is giving us that sun-kissed look. So the tones in our bronzer are going to be a little bit different than the tones in your contour. So contour is creating that dimension and those shadows. Bronzer is warming us up and giving us that sun-kissed look. So you'll see right here, what I'm doing is just kind of taking a little bit and blending. Why is that giving a thumbs up? Blending it. Oh, I zoomed out so you can kind of see the neck, right? And you see I kind of like, when I placed it there, I placed more here. Sorry, Sayla came in and needed help. So what I do is I typically try to just kind of place it like that so I can blend it. The reason why I personally would rather, your chest is typically darker, right? And I don't like to look like my chest is dark and then I'm like really fair and that my neck is just stuck on my body. I would rather, and typically parts of my face, like right in here, match better with my chest and even like my forehead, right? And so I say like let this match this. If I have to bronze my neck a little bit, I would rather do that than look like, number one, like, okay, we've seen some people that have their face really dark and their body is really light and it looks like they have a clay mask on their face. But I've also seen those people that their like face matches their neck and then their chest is very dark. I personally rather it all. And then we also have lip and cheek colors. So those 10s are a lip color, a cheek color. They can also be eyeshadows. Some of them are also like color correctors where you can use them under your eyes to correct dark circles. They can be used for hyperpigmentation, all kinds of things. So there are times when I personally, since I struggle with rosacea, I don't like pink tones because sometimes I honestly just feel like the pink tones, I'm like, do people think that's my rosacea peeking through? I'm a little bit self-conscious of that. And there are times where I love a pink tone and I feel like it just brings out the natural colors in my face and that it just sits on my skin really pretty and I love it. I typically like pink tones more on my cheeks than my lips, I will say. So I'm using this one clearly on my cheeks I'll blend that a little bit better over there. And I want to show you this one. Okay. This one I love. It's a more like peachy tone. Peachy, salmon-y. It's Desert Sunset. It is a favorite of mine. Like all year round. Especially going into spring. I just love it. And then I feel like I did blend this a little bit. So I love that this pink color, this one, can be like really subtle color just to add that natural flush back to your face. But you can definitely make it like pop a little bit more. I love both of those. So there we go. There's that. We did our brightening shade, main shade, contour. We did a bronzer. I did use 2 lip and cheeks because I like having 2. I typically have 3 because I like to be able to mix them together. I like to use different ones on my cheeks, different on my lips, mix them together if I want to, play around. I think makeup should be fun. So that's why I like to have 2. But you can also just, all right, done using this whole compact here. I did do a simple eye look. I put these 2 together, which Dream is our shade of the month, meaning it's literally here for a month. As supplies last. The best basic color, like neutral color. And then I paired her with Angel's Landing, which is one of our colors that all the proceeds, all the profits from it are going to go to our foster care partners. So we have 2 foundations that all of the profits go to that. We have 3 eyeshadows that any of the proceeds from those purchases go there. And this is one. It's Angel's Landing. That's that eye look. Like, it looks fancy, but it's 2 eyeshadows. Super easy, okay? But if you want something like this, like take away that whole big, bulky, yucky makeup bag with all the things and simplify it into something like this that's like 1 to 3 or 4 brushes with this and your mascara, all you have to do is add yourself